Here is my team of the weekend for the Rugby World Cup quarterfinals. One of the greatest weekends of rugby ever, certainly the greatest I've ever seen. And so thank you to the 8 teams. Well done to the 4 winners. Commiserations to the 4 losers. Rugby was the winner ultimately, and I'm so privileged to have been at 2 of those games in Marseille. Wish I could have been in Paris because that rugby was on another level. And this is really, really hard to do. I've just sat with a coffee for about an hour, just going over these picks, and I still think I'll probably change my mind the second I hit stop on this video. But for now, I'm Tim, this is Egg Chasers. Please help spread the word on the channel by giving the video a thumbs up, by leaving your comments, and also by hitting subscribe as well. My team of the weekend from the World Cup quarterfinals: Cyril Bay at loosehead prop. Massive man, the softest of hands. He needs a hand cream company to come and sponsor him because he can do things most props cannot do, including 2 tries, 1 on the wing. He was great, as was his front row partner for France, Piato Malvaca. I mean, there was some great... I've got to mention Bongi and Benambi, who went for 70 minutes. I remember when I saw Dion Ferree about to come on for South Africa, I thought, wow, it's quite early for Bongi and Benambi to come off. That's a bold move. But no, Dion Ferree was going in the back row. Bongi and Benambi played 70 minutes. He was amazing. Piato Malvaca, the fact that he is there just speaks to the influence that he had on that game. His ball carries were immense, and when we didn't have Marchand or Marks, he put in a world-class performance at hooker for France. Tight head prop, Tyrell Lomax. Now, this is an incredible stat. New Zealand made 0 handling errors in the game, meaning Ireland had 0 scrums on their put-in the whole game. I mean, have I got that stat wrong? That's what I read this morning. That is just a mind-blowing stat. But when New Zealand did have scrums, Tyrell Lomax won some scrum penalties, got the better of Andrew Porter, who is one of the best looseheads in the world, and just had a great engine and great skills around the park. So he is in at tight head prop. Ebenet Sabeth, this was an easy call in the second row. He was a colossus, making a menace of himself, with causing chaos in the French defence before Arentz's first try, that ball carry to score the decisive try, and just a huge physical performance all the way around. And the intelligence. I know some France fans are disappointed with the tap down. They were raging in the Stade de France, but that was just, that intercepted stopped France from going 14-0 up. The ball went backwards, as I see it. That's how the ref saw it. And that was potentially a game, not game winning, but it was an intervention that meant effectively it went from being 14-0 to France to 7-all moments later. Ebenet Sabeth was huge. I put Franco Mostert in the second row alongside him. I struggled to pick this one because there were lots of good performances. Petty for Argentina was great. And there was a bunch of great performers. Brody Retallick was excellent. But I went for Franco Mostert, even though he only played about 50 minutes. And his face when he came off, he looked devastated to be coming off. And I think he knew that he was having a great game, and he did. Into the back row, Courtney Laws. Owen Farrell is the captain of England and had a really good performance. Courtney Laws leads with his actions. He doesn't say a lot of words, but he leads that England team. And it was a true leader's performance. He was the best back row on the park and one of the best back row performances of the weekend as I saw it. Tell me if you disagree. That's what the comments are for. Sam Cane. Talk about leaders' performances. And he's much criticised. I was even suggesting and asking the question, should Ardie Savia be the captain for New Zealand, and so that Sam Cane isn't picked to start purely because he's the captain? He put a statement performance in, and I mentioned it on the video yesterday or the night before. I can't remember. It's all a blur. His eyes when he walked out, you could tell he was on, and that was a mighty performance that he put in. And alongside him, I've already mentioned Ardie Savia. Ardie Savia, what a baller! What a baller! Yeah, just both sides of the ball, all action. He is a difference maker. Difference makers don't come more impressive than Antoine Dupont. So happy that he played. Devastated for him and France that he's not going to be part of the World Cup moving forward. He is the face of rugby right now, along with Sia Khaleesi. And I said in the video last night, that's one of the things that's the only silver lining out of the fact that France played South Africa in a quarter-final is we know one of those players is going to be in a semi-final and will be favourites to make the final because they're the biggest names in the sport. Antoine Dupont. We are witnessing in real time the career of one of the greatest players ever to pick up a rugby ball. He is that good. Fly half Richie Mwanga. I mentioned New Zealand had 0 handling errors. Mind-blowing stat. Well, Richie Mwanga's performance was crisp and clean, and when he got a sniff of an opportunity, that break before the Will Jordan try, very few other fly halves would do that. Tactically, he was excellent. I know New Zealand spread the workload for their kicking across the pitch with Geordie Barrett, with Bowden Barrett. But Richie Mwanga was excellent at fly half. There were lots of good fly half performances. Owen Farrell was great. Marnie Lebok looked really good. And Santi Carreras for Argentina was excellent as well. Left wing, Cheslin Colby took his try brilliantly, managed to keep one of the best wingers on earth, probably the other best winger on earth. If you were picking a World 15, I would pick Colby on one wing and Damien Penaud on the other. And Colby kept Penaud relatively quiet, which is a huge testament to him. But the moment that Cheslin Colby will probably be remembered for in this game is charging down that conversion. And in a 1-point game, that could have been the difference between winning and losing. Inspired. Into the centres, Damien Dialende is probably the hardest done by, in my opinion, in this whole 15. The one that came closest to being picked and didn't get picked. Damien Dialende was outstanding. Bundyaki, probably Ireland, when you reflect on that game, Ireland and New Zealand both played brilliantly. Some of the big game players for Ireland were just down from levels we have seen before. Bundyaki, every single game he's played in green during this Rugby World Cup, he has been sensational. He will be nominated for World Player of the Year. He would be a really good shout to win that award as well. Outside centre, Jesse Creel. This was much easier. I was blown away by Jesse Creel's performance. And, you know, earlier in the tournament, I saw Andre Esterhuizen playing really well, and I was sort of going, oh, should South Africa think of a way to accommodate him in the side? And kind of, I didn't never criticise Jesse Creel, but I just kind of never thought of him as an automatic first choice. But you saw why they didn't want to risk Lukhanyo Am and why they didn't need to risk Lukhanyo Am, because Jesse Creel was a world-class centre in that game against France. Emiliano Buffelli, a representative from Argentina, and he was great. Another leader's performance, kicked the goals when it was needed, attacked really well, and kept Wales in check defensively in a big win for Argentina. So their sole representative in the 15. Argentina have 1 player, England have 1 player. The only 2 players from that side of the draw, because that just tells you about the golfing class. The final player in my 15 of the week, Damien Willems, who he's massively impressed me this World Cup. South Africa are giving him more and more responsibility. Quite often it's Libok giving the ball out the back and Willems is the one who's tactically kicking on attack. His tactical mind and his loose field running is brilliant. And I fully understand why they've handed the reins over to these guys. And that's the frightening thing for the world is South Africa are handing the family silver from the slightly older, brilliant players to these young guns who are going to be around for a while. And I mean, they're absolute ballers. That's my 15. Again, the comments are there. If you disagree, think I've missed anyone, made a wrong call, would love to hear what you think. As for my top 3 performances, actually, no. Before I get to my top 3 performances of the week, I've created a new category in this because we saw the importance of the replacements benches in this weekend, maybe more than any other time in the World Cup. And so I've got 1 player that I thought was the finisher of the week, the bomb squad member of the week, the bench player of the week, whatever you want to call it. Quagga Smith. All muscle, all action, all energy. He was amazing. And he's exactly what you want from a replacement. Just pure impact. The involvements, the carries, the tackles. He came off. It was like he'd been caged. And he had this energy and he just put it out there and put it about. So because it's a 23-man sport, Quagga Smith, replacement of the week. But now to the top 3 players of the weekend as I saw it. Tell me what you think. Eben Etzebeth, huge try, huge intervention to stop France from scoring. And just a menace all night. So Ebenezer Beth at number 3. Number 2, Sam Cane, even above Ardi Savia. Here's my justification for that. Ardi Savia got the man of the match. But Ardi Savia doesn't do a lot of the things that he did without Sam Cane. The perfect example is the ball carry really early in the game, first couple of minutes, Caelan Doris. And what we will see on the highlight reel and what we will remember is everyone patting Ardi Savia on the back, the camera zooming in on Savia, who won the turnover off Caelan Doris. Brilliant. But what enabled Ardi Savia to do that was a monumental tackle from Sam Cane. And that probably sums him up. He does things which he doesn't get thanked for quite often, don't make the highlight reel, but really, really make the difference. So Sam Cane, number 2. And my number 1, Cheslin Colby. I mean, for all the reasons I've already mentioned about his performance, but for that one moment, the margins at this level, and particularly those games in Paris, are so fine that one moment where a player has the athleticism, the wherewithal, and the attitude to charge down a conversion kick. I cannot remember the last time I saw that. At international level, I cannot remember the last time I saw that. And Cheslin Colby recognised in that moment the job that he could and needed to do for his team. And I'm not saying it won the game because there was 80 minutes, but it was a huge moment. And so Cheslin Colby is my player of the weekend for that reason. Tell me if you agree, disagree. Thank you for your support on the channel. Give the video a thumbs up, like I say. Get stuck in the comments, hit subscribe. I will see you on the next one.